Hello, Tennos up here, and today's video is going to be about syndicates. Before I start, I just want to let you guys know that this video is not going to be scripted due to the time constraint, so do forgive me if I make any grammar mistakes or if you hear something weird at the background. It could be me. I believe you guys already know this. There's about 8 syndicates currently available, 6 of which has been around for a real long time, 2 of which that came out later, and they are individual standings. You could actually maximize them individually. However, the first 6 syndicates does affect one another because there are enemies, allies, and opposers. The fine detail of syndicates, like what is it, where to find them, their pros and cons, how to get reputation and standings, has been covered by many YouTube videos, and I don't see the point of making another one over here. So I'm actually gonna link you to another video which I find pretty good among the others. It's by NeoNas007. It's pretty long, almost 30 minutes, but the amount of information in it is pretty good. If you're new, you should definitely go check it out. If you are a veteran, I believe most of the information there has already been known to you. So what we're going to talk about in this video is things that was not covered in that video, which one of it is how to maximize up to 6 syndicates. As mentioned before, the 2 newer syndicates, which is the Conclave and also Cephalon Simmers, does not affect the other syndicates with their standing. However, the older 6 syndicates like the Steel Meridian, the Arbiter of Hexes, Cephalon Suda, the Parent Sequence, Red Veil, and also New Loka, they have a weird relationship. So if you have a picture of the relationship between the 6 syndicates, as you can see, the blue lines are allies, the yellow lines are opposed, and also the red lines means that they are enemies. Now I have it open on Paint so that I can draw stuff on it as I talk, and what you would realize is that if you were to focus on New Loka and keep that standing going up, what will happen is that the parent sequence will also have its standing rise because they are allies, and the ratio of it being increased is New Loka 2, parent sequence 1, so it's 2 to 1. And yeah, so ultimately at one point you'll find that this 2 will be maxed out. And then what you want to do is, after you have these 2 things maxed out, you want to go to Red Veil and focus on Red Veil instead. So what will happen is, as your Red Veil standing increases, your Steel Meridian standing will increase, and ultimately Red Veil and Steel Meridian will be maxed out as well. So that is how it works. Now instead of this structure, you can also go for the Cephalon Suda, and once this 2 is maxed out, you go for Steel Meridian and get this 2 maxed out. Okay, now this is the idea. There is also something that you should really consider, is not to take these first. Okay, you want to take the one at the top first, either New Loka or Cephalon Suda. The reason why is that, for example, let's say if you were to take Red Veil first, and then now you have Red Veil max and also Steel Meridian max, but there's no way to not reduce the standing of Steel Meridian if you were to take New Loka or Parent Sequence. Do you see? So rather, if you take New Loka or Parent Sequence, you're going to reduce the standing of your Steel Meridian, which won't allow you to get 4 maximum standings on 4 syndicates. So instead, what you want to do is you want to get New Loka first and Parent Sequence and get this one lowered. It's fine, let it be negative, it's okay. And what you want to do next is, when you do Red Veil, and then you slowly increase the Steel Meridian until the point where it bypasses the negative and go to its max standing. Now if you're new and you start off with New Loka or Cephalon Suda, and you have already max ranked it and you have all the items you want in New Loka, for example, so you don't actually need any more standings on New Loka, you can actually use the sigil on Parent Sequence instead, because that's not going to make any difference. So let me show you what I mean. Let's say you have New Loka on, it's going to give you a negative on Steel Meridian and Cephalon Suda. Once this one is maxed out, you put on a sigil for Parent Sequence, it's going to reduce Arbiter of Hexes and Steel Meridian. But on the journey where you get New Loka max, Steel Meridian is probably going to be also negatively maxed out. So having Parent Sequence is not going to make a difference. So this will help you to get your New Loka and Parent Sequence maxed out really quickly. But what's coming next when you go for Red Veil? And that is going to take a while, because you're gonna slowly increase the steel meridian's standing in a ratio of 2 to 1. And that is the only part that is going to take a really long time. Besides that, it's actually really fast. So you just go for new loca, parent sequence, and then redville. In this side, you go for Cephalon Suda, get everything maxed, and then go for arbiter of hexes, get everything maxed, and then go for steel meridian. Now at this point, I would recommend you guys get a friend, a buddy, or a clanmate or something, where one of you will start off at this side and the other one will start off this side. Okay, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna max them both and then trade among each other such that you will have every single item within all of these 4 syndicates. Then after that, what you want to do is you want to continue with the bottom part, which is redville and steel meridian. So for example, the guy that took new loca will now take redville, and at one point he will have so much standing on redville such that he already has the maximum standing and also all the items in redville, but the steel meridian has not reached its peak yet, and he has not have gotten all the items in steel meridian yet. So this is where you can start trading again, because the guy that started off with Cephalon Suda and now is doing steel meridian will probably have the exact same problem as you. So he has maximum standing on steel meridian and all the items, but he does not have everything in redville yet. So this is where you could start trading. So you're going to use that surplus standing to get items for your friend, and your friend's going to take his surplus standing from steel meridian to get items to give to you. And this is what I believe to be the most efficient way to get all the items in the syndicate and also have the maximum amount of max rank syndicates. Let's say you're a lone wolf, or your friend that you are playing with previously, that you started with together and trading with, no longer plays Warframe. He stopped, he quit. But you still want to get all the items among all these syndicates. So can you still find a way to do this efficiently? The answer is yes, and I find it pretty good as well. So let me show you how. Let's say you want to have an end product of having Cephalon Suda and arbitrary hexes and steel meridian with redville maxed out. Okay, so you're lacking of the new loca and parent sequence. So what you want to do is you're gonna start off with the new loca first. Get this maxed out and then get all the items in the new loca. Then you're gonna continue with parent sequence, which should be half done since they are allies. Continue over here and get it done and get all the items in parent sequence. Now at this point, the new loca and parent sequence no longer mean anything to you because their standings will not affect you at all. Okay, because you already have all the items that you need in their syndicate. So it could go down, it could go up, it doesn't really matter to you. Now here comes the next part. Should you go for Cephalon Suda and then arbitrary hexes and then redville and or, which this is what I think is a better choice, go for redville first. Okay, when you come to redville, at one point when you max out redville, you no longer need the standing. Your steel meridian will be half done. Okay, so let's say half done over here is orange, and then now we're going to talk about the final and like the end result things that you need, and you're not going to touch because you want the standing to be there. Okay, so once this is half done, this is fully done. Once this is fully done, just straight away come to Cephalon Suda. So let's use red for the definite stuff. So now you're gonna continue with Cephalon Suda, max it out, and then you should have arbitrary hexes half maxed out. Continue with arbitrary hexes, and then finally continue with steel meridian. Now at this point with the steel meridian, and since you no longer need to use any standing on your redville, since you have all the items there already, you should have no problem maxing out this one as well while you are maxing out your steel meridian and using the points in steel meridian to get the other parts. So that is how you can single-handedly go through the entire syndicate of all these and get all the items without relying on someone else. But to be fair, it's not as efficient as having a friend, because remember, every single time you have to max out a syndicate, you do have things like offerings and you need to spend credits. So over here is a simple spreadsheet I made. This part is pretty much copy paste from wiki. However, I did include the names of the Warframe augments that is available in those syndicates. I know the words might be a little bit small, especially if you're looking through the screen, so I'm gonna leave this whole spreadsheet a link at the description so you can click on it to take a look. Make sure that the path that you choose has the Warframe that you want. Okay, and also I included the total standing, and what this pretty much means is that if you were to spend standings on every single item in the syndicate offering, how much standing do you have to spend in order to get every single item once? Okay, so this is the total amount. In a way, you could think of it such that if you are in a syndicate that has the highest total standing, this means that if you were to trade for things on other people's syndicate, you won't have to spend that much to get all their stuff, because all their stuff is only worth this much standing. So if you're trading 1-to-1 standing stuff, then you won't have to trade that much. I hope you get what I mean. Now I also have questions on the damage that it does when it does the like burst trigger AoE thing. Okay, so these are the names. Justice will do blast damage, but it doesn't actually knock the enemy down. It staggers them such that you could actually do a finisher if the person is staggered. I mean, if the enemy is staggered next to you, right? So you just go close to him and you can actually do a finisher. So that's kind of handy, I guess. Now the restoring type thing is based on your maximum health, the total health that you have displayed on your screen. So if you have things like vitality, that 25% will include whatever health that is increased by the vitality. So it's kind of good for tankier frames and stuff like that. However, this part, the temporary buff part, I believe that the 20%, 25%, the base energy increase, shield health and all those stuff, is all based on your unranked Warframe base stats. So if, for example, if the base armor is only 100, even though you have steel fiber on and stuff like that, you'll still only get 25 armor. Okay, and the duration for all these buffs is 30 seconds, and the justice and all those all those proc thingy, trigger thingy from your syndicate has a 10 seconds cooldown, so it cannot actually keep triggering. It has to wait a brief moment of 10 seconds before it actually starts taking affinity again to charge up and get ready for the next burst. The damage done to enemies is not, how do I say this? It does not ignore armor, so it really depends on the type of damage and the type of enemies that you're doing. So for example, if you are doing viral on, let's say, a heavy gunner, it's not going to do that much damage. The armor is going to reduce it, and since viral versus armor is not that good and stuff like that, so the damage will be reduced. Okay, so over here is something I think a little bit interesting, is that here we have the option 1 and option 2, which is what we have discussed. You start with Cephalon Suda, then you go with arbitrary hexes, and then after that you go with Steel Meridian to get Red Veil. Or the option 2, which is you start off with New Loka, then Parent Sequence, then Red Veil, and then get your Steel Meridian. Now the cool thing is that as you do, that means let's take a look at option 1. So once you finish Cephalon Suda, you should have the augments for Banshee, Limbo, Chromo, and all these other like 10 Warframes over here. This means that when you start doing arbitrary hexes, you can ignore the Mirage and Limbo mods because it's already over here. Okay, so you only have to focus your standing and buy these other stuff, things that you do not have. And as you go down even further, when you start Steel Meridian, you have only the Atlas, Amber, Oberon, Rhino, basically when you come down all the way to Red Veil, you only have Necros and Zephyr. And this is really good because this means that while you're doing, you are actually also reducing the cost of finally getting everything that you need for your last syndicate. Okay, so over here it's the same thing. It actually shows you, so it's color coded such that you can see what what else do you need to get in parent sequence, which is these mods, and then when you reach Redville, the Necros and also Zephyr is already, you already have them over here, so you have to focus on this, and then Steel Meridian, then you have these 4 to focus on. So total Warframe over here you can get is 26, and total Warframe from the option 2 you could get is also 26, so you can cover 26 Warframes. But there is a difference, okay? The option 1 does not have Mag, Valkyr, and Trinity, and option 2 does not have Limbo, Mirage, and Inaros. So if any one of them is a Warframe that you really like to play, you might want to consider taking the different option. Among all the large team restores consumables that the Syndicate has, I find that the large team energy restore is the most useful one and is found in the parent sequence and arbiter of hexes. And this is actually really good because you'll realize that both option 1 and option 2 will have either the arbiter of hexes or parent sequence, so you definitely won't have a trouble of getting that. In my opinion, one of the best Syndicate bursts is those that could actually restore your energy. The reason why is because, for example, I like to play Ember a lot, and the reason why is because of her War on Fire. It's just really efficient. You could run through low level missions really quickly. The problem is, even if you have a Trinity or if you have a lot of those large team energy restore plates, you cannot actually restore your energy while War on Fire is on. However, the Syndicate bursts could. So that is one way I play with a good Syndicate weapon that restores your energy. You could pretty much like forget about energy and just focus on killing. Now, with that said, your Ember could also play in a different way, a different build. So you don't want to have too much power strength on it because you don't want to kill the enemy with your War on Fire. The reason why is because if your own Warframe kills the enemy, it will not contribute any affinity to your weapon, and therefore it will not charge up that affinity to cause the Syndicate burst. So you kinda could run your Ember in a different kind of way. You could go for max range and put on the augment fire quick to make them get knocked down, and just pretty much go for tank and also efficiency, and it really works really well. Not only will the environment be a lot safer for your teammates, but you also do not have to worry about energy. So the whole point of this video is really just to share a sort of strategy that could potentially save you guys a lot of time and effort. Because when I first started, I really wanted someone to teach me this. I actually went the wrong way. I started with Cephalon Suda, which was somewhat correct, but then I went to parent sequence for some weird reason, and then everything just got mixed up and I just went one huge round. Long story short, I still do not have the things in Arbiter of Hexes, and right now if I were to start getting an Arbiter of Hexes, it will lower my parent sequence and also Redville, which is not something I want because I have accumulated the surplus for future use, and it'll all go to waste if I start doing this. So I decided to, call on some friends or Discord members or clanmates to trade stuff instead. Bottom line, I wasted a lot of time in this Syndicate thing, and hopefully this video will help you save the time that I could not save for myself. So yeah, hopefully this helps you, and don't forget to like and subscribe. That's all for this video. Have a pleasant day, Tennos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.